Good morning, guys, and welcome back to Pure Function. Today we're going to be going over the TCS Motorsports X Brace, or also known as a rear strut bar for the Toyota MR2 from 91 to 1995 here in the US, or up till 1999 if you're in Japan or some other countries. This bar is custom made by TCS Motorsports in-house. It is what we would call sort of a replica of the TRD bar, but with better materials, and the TRD bar being, well, now discontinued. This is something that's big and helpful for the market. So to pull it up for you guys, here's what you're going to be getting. I'm going to set it down here and go over a little bit of detail, but this thing is stout. I've already taken off the stock bar once just to see the difference, and it has a good bit more weight to it, but you can tell there's a lot more rigidity to it. When I take the stock bar off, I'll demonstrate here how loose and how unrigid it is here later on in the video. So to help you guys out, what comes in the box? So here's what you're going to be getting. First and foremost, you're going to be receiving the X Brace itself. You're going to receive two longer 14mm bolts that I'll show you where these go here later on the video, and you'll receive one TCS Motorsports decal. The bar itself is made of 304 stainless steel. Unlike the old TRD bar, which was actually a mild steel and would rust over time, this bad boy will never rust and will never fail on you. Something I really like about the TCS Motorsports over the old TRD is, say you even want to coat it, or if you have a nick in it down the road, or if you paint it and something happens, what happened with the old TRDs? Well, they would always rust as soon as you got something, or if you bolt it down too many times, take it on and off, around those edges where you bolt it down, it would tend to rust over time and tend to seep out and will go over your nice paint. This will never do that to you, which I really like, or you can leave it as is. It is beautifully polished, done by TCS also. I'm really happy to get this, and I'm really excited to get this done. So let's go ahead, head over to the MR2 here. I'm going to show you guys exactly what needs to be done to get the old bar off and to get this on. Actually, it doesn't look half bad. All right, guys, now it's time to go ahead and remove the stock X Brace here so we can go ahead and get the TCS Motorsports X Brace on the car. What we have to do is this. There is two bolts back here, and then two nuts up front on the strut towers themselves to get this bar off. There's also going to be these two nuts we're going to have to remove also, as the bar itself actually uses two mounting points on both sides instead of these 2 points here. Just makes it a little bit sturdier in the long haul, but to get this off, there's no real pattern, there's no real directional way you need to take it off. You just need to remove these two nuts and two bolts and use this 14mm that I have here for a socket, and I'm using a 3/8 wrench to make this a little bit easier. You could use an impact if you would guys like, but for the purpose of this video, and I know most of you might not have an impact, I'm just going to use a standard ratchet with a 14mm socket. First nut's off there. Let's go ahead and take this back bolt out. Go ahead and pop this off to make this a little bit easier. I can just twist this out then. These weren't stuck either, guys. This actually was quite easy. I'm surprised how these weren't rusted on. Maybe, and I'm assuming this has probably been off before since this motor is not the stock motor, and it is a Gen 3 motor. Now let's go over here and take off this nut right here. Whoop. Drop my socket. Go ahead and take that off. Another thing, guys, if you notice, I went ahead and put down this microfiber here. The reason for that is so I don't scratch the paint while I'm taking these nuts and bolts off. Now that I've got the two bolts and two nuts off, what I have to do next is go ahead and remove this X Brace, which you're going to have to pull up on this side a little bit more. There we go. Pops up. That pops off. Pull it directly out so you don't scratch your paint, and that's it. Now we've got this removed. We just need to remove these two more nuts yet, and we can go ahead and install the new X Brace. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to remove this nut here. Now, what I should have done, and I realize this now, I should have moved both of them while I was over there, but that's no big deal. I'm just going to walk back over there and remove that nut yet, and we'll be good to go. All right, guys, next up, we're going to go ahead and install the TCS Motorsports X Brace back onto the car. For this, what we're going to do is install it with one side over the other. So what I mean by this is you can't install this directly. If you do, you're going to hit one of these metal panels, and you don't want that happening. What you need to do is flatten it out like so, and what you're going to do is install the passenger side first. So I'm going to try and slip it down over, as you can see here. Now, the only thing you have to do is pick up on this little bit of plastic here, and gently move around, and boom, there you go. They'll slide down over the driver's side now, and you're good to go. Now what you need to do is install all the nuts and bolts, that 2 stainless steel bolts that are supplied by TCS, and then the 4 nuts that we removed earlier. Now, I just want you guys to finger these on, as I call it. Just get them finger tight. Do not crank these down yet, because there's a certain pattern that I want you to go with when finishing this up, as there's gonna be one part that needs to get tightened down before the rest of the bar gets tightened down completely. So let's go ahead and start putting some of these nuts and bolts back on the car. And like I said again, guys, do not crank these down. Just spin them on by hand like so. I'm gonna put these 2 nuts on real quick. Go ahead and put these stainless bolts over here in. So guys, what I'm gonna do is go ahead, I'm gonna start back here, put one of these stainless steel bolts in just to hold it in place for right now. Nothing crazy. Yep, there we go. Go ahead and thread that in real quick. All right, let's go ahead and put 2 of these nuts on. Again, guys, just keep these, just finger them on. Don't tighten them down yet. Just put a little bit on. There we go. Now let's go to the other side. Go ahead and install these real quick. That one there. And put this stainless steel bolt in real quick. All right, guys, now for sequence. One thing you're probably going to notice right off the bat is on the passenger side, this back part of this bar, there's a little bit of a gap. That's going to be hard to see here on video, but back behind this bar, there's a gap. People in the past have said, well, why is there a gap there? The design behind it originally from TRD is to keep it as tight as possible. So what they do is they have this gap and it pulls everything forward, pulls all the pressure up on these mounting points to help keep everything as sturdy as possible. There's just a design from TRD that Ty actually integrated back into his TCS bar. So you need to go ahead and tighten down this bolt first and foremost, crank this down as far as you can, and then after that you can crank the rest of the bolts and nuts down. And there's no real sequence for that, but you have to, I repeat, you must crank this bolt down on the passenger side at the top front first and foremost. After that, you are good to go. Let's go ahead and start cranking these down. I'm gonna go ahead and slip my ratchet on here and spin this on. Almost tightened up. And there we go. So we got our first bolt done there, guys. Now we need to go ahead and crank the rest, and this should be complete. So let's go ahead and get the rest of them done. And then tighten up these last 2 nuts. All right, guys, here is our finished product. This looks fantastic. I'm super happy with the way this came out. I'm actually really glad he does include these stainless bolts, as you would see nasty looking rusted bolts like this right here sitting up here, and it just would kind of take away from the nice shininess of this bar. I'm very happy the way this came out. It just, you can tell right off the bat. So let's go ahead, I'm going to clip back over to what it used to look like and what it looks like now. You can see the difference in it. You can see how much stouter this bar is. Like I said, when you pick it up, it is heavier, but it's just so much stronger. The welds are so much better. There's so many key components where it's braced together that it's going to be much stronger, and it's actually going to help you in the corners down the road. I'm very happy with this product. I'm very happy how well it looks too. I know I'm all about function when it comes to this channel, but this really turned out well. All right, guys, so if there's anything you need, any help that you'll need along this, please feel free to message me. I have my Facebook and Instagram listed down below. I'll also list the description and where to buy this bar from TCS Motorsports. I'll list it all down below. If you need any help, contact me or contact Ty Saxon over at TCS Motorsports, and he'll help you too. Thank you guys very much, and I'll talk to you later.